Hey, what's going on? Doc Danny here with the PT Entrepreneur Podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for watching on our channel. We're going to be putting out more and more information like this in a platform that I use all the time. And now we're starting to put the podcast up there as well. So if you're listening to this and you're a longtime listener, and you want to watch the podcast, you want to see what I look like and all my weird hand movements as I talk to my hands like a true, Italian does, you can watch it there. And for those of you who want to listen to this while you're doing yard work or driving to work, cool. You can still watch it and listen to it on anywhere that you listen to podcasts. But today, I want to tell you a story. It's story time, okay? And this is something that comes from, really early stages in running our practice. And a lesson that I learned from one of my patients about the value of working with people ongoing and not necessarily just solving injury problems. Because one of the biggest mistakes that I see with new clinicians in starting their business, they've never worked in a model that allowed them to work and see people in a proactive manner, is that they don't know what to do, or they don't know that people find value in what you do outside of helping them resolve an injury. So about 2 months into starting my practice, I had someone referred my way from another patient, and this was an interesting lady. This lady was in her early 50s, and she was trying to run a marathon in every single state in the country. And she was about a third of the way through. She had about 15 to 20 states that she had, that she'd already run a marathon in. And as you can imagine, that's a pretty hard thing to do. She was running a few marathons every single year. Not only that, but having to travel to all kinds of different places, and sometimes they're real small towns. And but it was a big goal of hers. She wanted to run a marathon in every single state. So when I saw her for a foot problem that she had. So she was having some, running related foot issues from all the training that she was putting in and all the miles that she was logging, right? And as I helped her with this issue, I was really proud of my average visit rate, which at the time was like 2.6 visits per person. I tracked it like really closely. And this was something that I would tell people too. I was like, hey, if you see me 3 visits, it's above my average. Like, I expect to see you a couple and you're good. Thinking this is like how I could prove the most value to people was literally get you better as fast as humanly possible. And in actuality, what I was doing was condensing what I should have been doing, giving them way too much homework to do, and trying to do as much hands-on work as I possibly could in the period of time when they were there, right? So I was trying to squeeze probably 8 visits worth of work down into 2 to 3. And this runner in particular, whenever I finished up with her, I saw her 3 times for this foot problem she had. And I said, okay, cool. I'm going to send you the homework I want you to do over the next 6 weeks. Just a lot of like progressive exercises for her to do. Let me know if you have another problem pop up as you're training for one of your races. Thanks for coming in to work with me, right? So 2 weeks later, she shows up back on my schedule, right? So people could self-schedule with the software we used when we first started. And she popped up on my schedule. I said, oh, hey, how's it going? Like, what's going on? And she said, hey, well, my foot feels better, but I want to see if you could take a look at my hip. So her hip had been giving her problems. Hadn't really brought it up to me when she was in the office. I hadn't even asked, right? So huge mistake on my part. So I said, all right, cool. I take a look at it. Start helping her address her hip. I see her 2 or 3 times for her hip, give her this extensive homework plan again to do, and send her on her way. So 2 weeks after I discharged her the second time, she shows back in my office, shows back up, and she said, hey, I'm hoping you can help me address got a little nagging issue in my knee. I just want to get some work done on it as I'm training. Now at this point, this is the second time I've discharged her. Third time she's come back, or second time she's come back on her own for what was really like a very minor thing. And at the time, I was very concerned with my average visit rate because it's what I told everybody. I don't want anybody messing it up. And she's kind of skewing my numbers at this point. She'd been in, this is probably her 8th time coming in, which most people would say, that's great, right? You have ongoing business and you have people that want to come back. But I didn't know anything about business. And I actually told her, I said, hey, we help people solve problems. Like, I don't want to necessarily be a part of ongoing like maintenance work. I kind of viewed it as a bad word. Like, this isn't like a maintenance clinic. Like, we solve real problems. And I remember her sitting there, and she used my first name, like I was a child, like my mom. And she was like, "Listen, Danny, I'm a 50-year-old woman that's trying to run a marathon in every single state. And that's a lot of work and it's hard on my body. I would like you to be a part of that process so that I don't get hurt really bad, so I can proactively work towards this goal. Are you interested in doing that?" And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I'm an idiot. Yes, that sounds awesome. I would love to be a part of her achieving this goal. And, I just felt like I was missing something. I didn't know why I was so adamant about discharging somebody, uh, instead of the dream of being able to help somebody proactively, achieve these physical goals they're really, really cool and a big accomplishment for this person. And my view sort of paradigm shift started to change where instead of saying, let's get these people in and out as fast as we possibly can, it's let's solve this problem. But I always want to ask the question, what else do you want to do? Like, what other things would you like to do physically? What would you like to train for? What would you like to accomplish? What haven't you done yet that this injury has maybe been stopping you from being able to do? And to be in that position is so cool. It's so cool, not just for me as a clinician, but for the other person sitting there. Think about this. How many people have ever asked somebody or been asked, "Hey, what physical goals do you have? What do you want to accomplish? What would you like to do that's new and novel and something you can be proud of?" Nobody's asking people that in their office. But I promise you this, if you get somebody out of pain and back to a blank, state where they can do whatever they want, they can build to whatever they want from there, and they feel confident that they physically are capable of doing things, and they have somebody as an advocate in their corner to like quarterback their health and wellness and help them achieve those goals. Now you open a whole new world up to those people, a whole new world. That's an amazing place to be. And for you as a business owner and a clinician, it puts you in a place where you have ongoing recurring revenue and truly happy clients that are not solving pain problems anymore. They're working towards physical goals, and you're helping them achieve these massive leaps forward in both their health and wellness, but also in their ability to achieve things in their life. And we know that as we get older, it's harder and harder for us to experience new things. It's harder and harder for us to achieve things that, make us feel like we put the work in and we have these accomplishments to show for it. And we feel proud of ourselves and we feel like we're making progress. But those are the things that help us feel young. Those are the things that help us, not just get sedentary and stuck in a rut and doing the same crap over and over and over again. It's our ability to ask people these questions of like, hey, what would you want to do? Hey, you're not in pain anymore. You're getting stronger. Like, is there anything physically you've wanted to do? Is there anything you think would be a cool challenge? Is it like, let's just think for a second, like what goals would you want to have? And actually let them, think through that. You help them think through that. You like to run. Oh, have you ever heard of like a Ragnar race? You ever thought about doing that? Now you get a team to do that. And now you got to look at trail running and all these things that maybe we have to build up more strength for, or whatever. You can help them actually, kind of get to these different goals that maybe they never even thought were possible. And that's such a fun place to be. And it took a very direct conversation from a client, and I'm so glad that she was able to sit me down like a child and talk to me the way that she did and help me realize that I was just discharging people because that's the world I came from. I came from the Army where there's no way in hell I'm doing maintenance performance-based work with people. We barely have enough providers to do injury work with people. So we couldn't do that. That's nothing that I ever even thought was on the table for a physical therapist in the setting that I was coming out of. But in my own practice, you can do whatever you want. And it's way more fun to be on the performance side and be able to say, hey, what do you want to do? And then we've had all kinds of stuff. Hey, I want to climb Mount Kilimanjaro. Hey, I want to row across the Atlantic Ocean in a single man boat. True fucking story, by the way. We helped somebody do that, which was wild. And he did it. That was nuts. Hey, my wife and I just retired. We want to hike across Ireland together. Can you help us with that? Like, these are things that I've actually helped clients do by asking them the question, what do you want to do? You're not hurt anymore. What would you like to do with your vehicle in life, with your body? Let's figure that out. And that's a fun place to be. That's a great place for you to be as a business owner. So make sure you're asking them that question. Make sure you're not leaving not just visits on the table. You're not leaving revenue on the table. You're leaving the ability to impact somebody's life in a incredibly significant way on the table, because you're not asking them questions about what do they want to do now that they're not inhibited by pain and sort of stuck in a state where they feel very frustrated. And now they can do what they want. They just need to have the creativity, the prompting, the support to be able to think that they can do it and then go for it. And that's where we fit really, really well. So thanks so much for listening. Hope this helps. Make sure you're asking your patients. Don't have to get sat down by somebody like my patient did to explain to you why it's important. And build this into part of your process as you're getting people better so you can help them achieve really cool long-term physical goals. So thanks for watching and listening. Check you next time.